Awesome.
Hi guys, if you don't know me already, my name is Michelle Vanakurov, and this guest interview, is going to be very special because the guest I have on here, he's actually my very first guest that is not from the United States. It's my first international guest, so I have on here today Russell Cross. How you doing, Russell?
Good. How are you, Michelle?
Yeah, good. So let's start off here. Just to tell everybody about yourself. That's how I usually start off with my guest interviews and everything. So let's hear about you.
Okay, my name is Russell. I'm 34 years of age. I'm actually an operations manager for a cleaning company called Fairways Cleaning Services. But due to the pandemic situation in Melbourne, that I can't do my role right now. So I'm stuck doing what I normally do though as a cleaner, or what you would class as in the States, a janitor. Sorry about that. I'm just going in and out areas because my feet are cold, so I do apologize. But anyway, so what would you like to know about me? Because I've got an open book policy with myself, so you can ask away any question you want, and I'll try and answer as much as I can.
I like the honesty. I really do. So actually, like, is there I first off to ask you, you're an individual with autism, or do you have connection about with autism?
Okay, I've got family connection as well as I'm a high functioning autistic male. My two nephews, one's on one side of the spectrum, the other one's on the other side of the spectrum. And then my cousin and his daughter are high functioning autistic people, but they use the term though, Asperger's syndrome, which is kind of a controversial subject from that one though, why people call it Asperger's, not autism, because it goes back to a doctor in Germany. No, not Germany, Austria though, who was actually under um, Dr. Asperger's, I think his name was. I can't remember though, but he was actually affiliated with the Nazi Party. So that's why it's very controversial though when people call Asperger's or autistic.
Right. And you know what's also interesting as well is that Asperger's syndrome is actually, I know here in the United States that they have it where Asperger's syndrome is actually under what they call the autism spectrum disorder. They put it under that category for like the past few years now. So Asperger's syndrome is not its own diagnosis no longer.
Yeah, it's actually under uh, ASD5 form, not the ASD form. I know I was diagnosed at 27 under the ASD5 form, which we had in Australia though for a while now. So I'm going back to nearly about 7, 8 years ago or something like that. I can't really remember. Can't really remember. Yeah, that's how long we've been over here, the ASD5 system.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Do you remember when you were first diagnosed with autism?
Okay, it was 2016 that I was diagnosed with autism. My sister-in-law there had a suspicion, and a few other people that I was working with thought that I had traits of autism.
Mhm.
It wasn't. It was the fact is though my nephew there has low functioning autistic behaviors that they started thinking they should go for and test it for autism though. Uh, I do have two children though, but my two children haven't got autism at all, so it has skipped them.
Interesting.
So,
Oh,
so I was diagnosed a year, just a year after my son was born.
oh wow, really? So after
Yep,
your son was born was when you found out.
yep,
Wow, interesting. And it's funny and it's interesting because also as well that you kind of like learns your traits from like within your family basically.
yeah. It is because it's all genetics. So on my mum's side, not on my father's side. On my mum's side, that's where it traits through. That it's on the mother's side. Most of the autism aspect though comes from the mother's side, not the father's side though. It does come, it can happen on the father's side, but most of the time it's actually on the mother's side of the family. So,
That's fascinating because I'm going to tell you in my family that I am the only one in my family that actually is diagnosed with autism. There's no one
yeah,
else in my family that has that. No one else.
yeah, but the thing is though, is that it might have missed one family generation, but it was passed down from another family generation, so it could have missed your that generation though, and you copped it. So,
But it makes me.
so, so the truth of the matter is though that it's a genetic disorder. It's got nothing to do with anything else though. It's actually a genetic disorder that's actually born with it. That's my understanding of autism though. It's just that later on in life though, about from 12 months is for a boy to be diagnosed. From 2 years, a girl can be diagnosed. So if she's got autism though. Don't ask me why though, but that's the truth of the matter.
So, are you saying that you believe that autism could be genetic? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is very much genetic. It's very much genetic factor in life though. It's very much a genetic thing. So you can't get it from vaccinations though. It's actually, that's a pure diabolical myth. That's actually been proven multiple times though, that autism is not caused by vaccinations. It's actually a genetic trait.
Hmm. That's really fascinating because like that's one of the things that I think there has always been a big controversy about for years, especially here in the United States. That was always a big controversy about whether autism is actually genetic or not. Because I know in my family that I'm the only one who has it. Like literally,
Yes,
my siblings,
yes,
my cousins, everyone, I'm the only one that has it. But
yes,
I've heard now in your case and in other cases, I've heard that there are traits of it that's been passed down from generation to generation. So, that's a very interesting topic that you have shared here about that.
yes, yes, yes. See, the thing is though, there is that how I know it's genetic though, on my mum's side,
Hmm.
that's my uncle. My uncle there has got autism.
Oh.
So I believe two of my uncles there have got autism. So on my mum's side, so basically that one's got high functioning autism, the other one's got mild to low functioning autism though. But they're adults though. They're actually they're still alive today though. They're in their 60s.
And there's
And yeah, and my my uncle though, who lives in Western Australia though, he's very successful at what he does though. It's just that though, when it comes to his political views and my political views though, it's very much the opposite though. It's like my cousin and I though, we've got very much different political views though there, because I've got views though there that's actually different to his views and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yes, it's very much a genetic trait though there. So autism though there, individually though there, it's not much difference though there from someone that's an NT though, a neurotypical male or female though, to someone there that's got other forms of disability though. But I can function on well as someone with autism or working with neurotypical people. So I've got that right a range so that actually can actually know what an autistic person can talk about though, as well as a neurotypical person can talk to. Because I work in the cleaning sector, so I actually have to understand what a neurotypical person is.
That's pretty much like with everybody else that's living with autism. Like we're just trying to understand what the world is around us, and just with anybody like with understanding how anybody that's neurotypical, like how they're thinking and stuff. Because what we think, what makes sense to us, may not make sense to them, and vice versa. So it's just about coming together and just learning to understand each other and like learn about each other. So.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just that some autistic people though, it's really hard to understand another autistic person too there, because they don't have to always have the same brain pattern. So me, I've worked with I've been with I've been around low functioning autistic people too there, and sometimes though it just frustrates me though because I have to tone it down to a level they can understand though, and it frustrates them because I've got to tone it up a level to where I can understand though. So my so yeah, I've got the was it at a as my science teacher said though many years ago, um, that I should have gone to university to do physics in nuclear technology. That I didn't have the math skills to do it, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's what the thing is that with like knowing your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to like towards like employment and stuff, and that like I'm sure that employment is one of the hardest things to go for individuals with autism. Like I know in the United States here, 85% of individuals with autism in the United States are either unemployed or underemployed, which means that pretty much they're not doing what they felt like they should be doing in terms of career wise, and that still is a statistic that is still a fact today. So what do you feel about in your views about with like you said with your job, like how did you with in terms of like with employment, like what's your story?
I've been doing cleaning for 13 plus years. No, so I've actually had run-ins. My temper, I've got a bad temper that is, so I've actually had a few arguments though with managers though for the cleaning sector though, because some of the managers though think I was being a little bit stupid or not so much like understanding where they're coming from though, whereas I knew though that my way was actually a lot better. But yeah, I had no problems there with getting employment, put it that way though. Put it this way though, I've had one opportunity though there that this is not the first time I've actually been promoted though as manager. This is actually the second time I've been promoted as manager for multiple different cleaning companies. But I've also worked in the hotel industry. So I worked in the hotel resort industry, but I was an all-rounder. So basically, though, I was actually helping staff and guests and all that there. So yes, it can be a bit challenging though to get employment though. Me, I've had this ability though to actually just walk into a place though to actually try and get work that way though. It's not easy though, but it actually does have its challenges because it does frustrate that you can't get work. But other times though, it just falls in your lap though. You just have to be patient though. That's what happened to me though. I had to be patient for 6 months last year just to get work, so I can actually not be bored. Because if I'm not working, I'm actually very bored, and actually um, trying to get myself motivated to do other things. So it's just that I love working.
Yeah, I love to work too, especially the job that I work. Like I am a paraprofessional, which is also means a teacher assistant. I work as a teacher assistant for elementary school students with autism. So
Yep.
I what I do is that I'm working in the classroom that's specifically just for students with autism, and we're
Yep.
using what they call applied behavioral analysis therapy techniques in the classroom. So
Yep.
we use that kind of therapy in the classroom to help students learn and everything,
Yep.
just like everybody else does. It's just a different teaching method to teach to the students. But yeah, you're not alone about with the employment. I will say that wasn't easy on my part either. That I started off in high school volunteering for a before and after care program and stuff. And that led me to eventually get a job, a part time job with them. But the hardest struggle was getting towards my job today, which I work now as a teacher assistant in a public school district. So the I don't know about you, but I know for me the hardest process was about with interviews. Like
Yes. Yes.
say that like because I know at times where I know for me if there was ever questions that were like wordy and stuff that I would not understand what that even meant. or anything.
Yep.
It just,
Yep.
the way that people say it, it's like one thing to them, and then to me, it's like, oh no, no way.
No, no. The thing is though that I mean, try to put it in this way though. I try and go for high end, low jobs type thing though. So like the cleaning sector in the mining industry though, which is one of the most toughest, demanding jobs around though. But you need certain cards to actually get into that position though, and you basically have to know somebody in that industry to get into the foot into the door though. Like most jobs here though, you literally need to know somebody in the industry just to get the foot in the door though. So yeah, it's like there though. A few months back, so I actually applied for a driver's assistant about an hour away from where I live though in Australia, in a place called Imbula, Victoria. Basically, it is one of the hardest, dangerous industries to get into because of how high risk it is though. So basically though, the interview went well, but there was other people though that had a bit more experience, I believe though, that actually got into the position though.
Mhm.
That I think in my case though, I didn't do all the forms in time because I was waiting for my first aid certificate to come in so I actually could set it all off though. But I didn't get in. But my first foot in the store of going for that interview though was actually on the phone interview, and then actually going in actually properly having that interview though. And believe it or not though, because my hobbies is the railway, because I actually do help my father out though with the HO layout. I do have an N scale layout. I haven't got around to yet because of my father and I are trying to concentrate on one layout before we start working on the other layout though. So yes, um, I do. My family is railway. We do have a history of railway blood though from my father's side of the family. Um, so we've all started in understanding of the railways for that way because of my great grandfather, who was actually one of the higher ups on the railway industry as a foreman, and it just been in the blood that way. So yeah, so basically though that when I've looked on videos though for how stupid people can be though, because trains do not stop though in time though. It's like that you guys are playing with death, because literally though there, the saying goes there, trains make great butchers. It's known fact though that actually will, if you don't follow the railway corridor though, or railway signals with the traffic light over when they put the boom gates down or the signals come down for cars though, you're playing with death. So that's how dangerous it is though, because it actually doesn't affect the person. It doesn't affect families on the road though. It actually affects everyone around you. So from the engineering perspective though, that they've got to do a report though, that it actually goes on to the NTSB and so on and so forth though. So it's people though that cause stupidity on the railways though that actually causes more deaths than you realize.
Right. The few key points from you that you mentioned were like about the importance of communication, because there could be so much that happens that we don't realize that anything can turn out, can like be misunderstood or turn and then go in the wrong direction and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's really a really good point that you mentioned, and also that the importance of having connections in order to get even a job in general. You're absolutely right about that, because I know in my experiences, except for my job today, this was the only one that actually I completely did on my own without like really knowing anybody like beforehand. But
yep,
my part-time job, my when I was volunteering, everybody pretty much knew me. So that's where
yeah,
the importance of connections, like just when you get yourself out there and doing stuff, even if it's starting off volunteering, people are going to recognize that. They're going to recognize that, and that's going to be a leeway of with getting a job. So,
yeah, exactly right though, because yeah, it's all into the. See, my belief though is simply this though. if you do a good enough job, though, actually beyond your capabilities, though, that people will recognize it, though. See, as an operations manager, that my targets, though, actually are the HR and the big bosses themselves, because they're the ones that actually can talk to HR, though, to actually go, we don't want that contract, we want that contract, though. So it's actually a competing market, though. So basically, though, my store that I clean, that yes, I treat it as my store because I'm in trying to impress the managers, the big bosses. So that the philosophy is, my philosophy is this: though, if the store is absolutely immaculately clean, customers will come in, spend money, though that store gets a profit. It goes up the chain, though, and they will like to know why the store's getting a profit, though, than other stores getting a profit, though. So that's my belief. So yeah, communication is a big part in everything, though. So by you being a volunteer, though, that's showing in your work, though, that you actually can get somewhere in the door, though. Whereas me, though, my way of actually showing them is actually in the work I do.
Right. Same thing, like that's pretty much everywhere. Like you have to start from the bottom and build your way up.
Yep,
That's
exactly right.
everywhere. And
Yep.
you saying that you're an operations manager, correct?
Yes.
So as an that's interesting because I know depending on people, like I personally don't like being a boss. Like I like working as a team, like just a team
Yeah.
player kind of.
Yeah.
So, do you like being like a boss in a way? Because you are an operations manager, so
Yes. Yes. As an operations manager, though, there I have to worry about team, though. So I've got to worry about everyone else underneath me.
mhm,
Also, there have to worry about my bosses as well, though, because if I'm not performance, though, I lose my job. So it's basically, though, I'm going to make sure that the staff, though, they are getting treated well, though, and everything else. And I've got to worry about my bosses, though. So basically, though, they're I'm the middleman, to put it that way, in a company, though. So it's basically, though, I've got to I've got to go and look for contracts, though, because at this present time, though, there's not much happening, though. Everything's in lockdown because as Australia is right now, though, where I'm living, it's called Fortress Australia. No one can get in virtually. So everybody, though, that's not a permanent residency or an Australian citizen cannot get into Australia. You actually have to go you actually have to go for the government's um, border protection agency to actually be able to come into Australia, though, on a working visa, though. So as a seasonal worker type thing. But yeah, basically, though, that at the moment, though, with the pandemic, though, there's not much happening, though. Everyone's working from home. So contracts get lost, though, because of the whole situation, though, because people are working from home, though. The cleaning companies are not making the money because businesses are shut down. So big high-end companies can't get staff to work because they've got to be forced to work at home, though. So it actually affects everyone around us. So yeah, so that's the truth, though. But after the pandemic's over, that yes, there'll be new opportunities to float, though, because people will be able to come back in. There'll be new contracts signed, though, but it'll be a lot more higher paying cleaning jobs, though, because of the infection rate that has to be cut down and everything like that. So it actually is. So it actually is one of the most low paying but high demand jobs right now.
that's absolutely true because with everything that's going on with the pandemic and stuff, that that's what they're needing right now is anybody
Yeah,
with any clean companies and stuff. So that is a really good point that you
yeah,
mentioned and
yeah,
everything. So I really hope that things will get better for the company that you work in and everything. And
yeah,
I even in the schools, like here in the United States, everything was starting like I specifically am from New Jersey. That's one of the states, you know, that's so I'm from New Jersey. And
yep,
from it's different even by every state in my country because some places
yeah,
open more than others. So like my where I am at, is that yeah, they're slowly already been opening up again. Like school buildings are open, but they have to like they have to like school districts have to allow students to attend in like groups, so like smaller capacity and stuff
Yep.
of students in the building, or to do it virtually online for the school year. So
Yep.
it's
Yep. Exactly right.
yeah, it's
See here though, there we're virtually though that you have to do it from home. Virtually doing online schooling at home though. Most places though in Australia though it's home virtually doing online schooling. Okay, because in Australia though, we're the size of the United States. Virtually mainland USA though can fit in Australia without a problem. Now, with Australia though, we've got 5 states, 2 territories. Now, because of this pandemic though, so Victoria where I live though, we're in stage 3, stage 4 lockdowns. We've got some of the most toughest restrictions in the world though. So basically though, give you an understanding on how bad it is here in Victoria. If you're in Melbourne and you want to get out, about the four exemption list though, you will be fined $5,000 Australian per person if you leave Melbourne itself though. If you're in regional Victoria, which I live, though, you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about getting fined though, because we can actually go freedom of movement though. So yes, that's how bad it is here. Victoria cannot go out of South Australia, can't go into South Australia or New South Wales unless we're quarantined though for 14 days. New South Wales can go into ACT, but cannot go into Victoria though unless they're quarantined for 14 days. ACTs can fly into ACT, meaning Australian Capital Territory, though, can actually go into South Australia now, though, without going to quarantine. But if you're in New South Wales and you want to go into South Australia, though, you have to be in quarantine for 14 days. Nobody can go into Queensland, though, unless you're as Queenslander, though, like you actually live in Queensland, you cannot go into Queensland. So anybody from New South Wales, Victoria, ACT, Northern Territory, Western Australia and Tasmania, though you cannot get into Queensland. Western Australia is in total lockdown, so nobody can go into Western Australia though, and Tasmania, known as the Apple Isle, which is off the coast of Victoria though, it's split between 2 land masses, which is actually the Bass Strait, which is actually the sea between the two. Nobody can go in and out of Tasmania either. So Australia is actually in total mixed up lockdown country inside disputed borders of Australia. So basically, it's kind of crazy, though. So that's the situation here. So basically though, that students in Victoria though have to do most of the time though from term 2, term 3, because each one we've got 10-week terms. So we don't have like what you would have in education wise though. We have it in terms. So we basically will have 10 weeks, between 9 and 10 weeks though, and then we'll have a 2-week holiday. That's what the school students do though. And then when it comes to summer vacation though, it's a little bit longer. So it's about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how it goes. But the thing is though, is that between term 2, since the pandemic hit though, from the mid of term 2 to end of term 3, though, that kids had to actually go online school, had to do the online education in Victoria alone. Though I don't know about the other states though, because I don't live in the other states. I'm only knowing about this because I live in Victoria. So Victorians had to do everything differently. So yes, our education system though was actually learn from home though. The only way you could go to school though was if your parents were actually in the front line. So as a cleaner though, as someone that is working in the essential services though, so as the fire brigade, the police department, police department, though, nurses, hospital sector, though, aged care sector, and basically that kind of thing though. Anyone else though, so hospitality, um, people in the hotel industry, they couldn't really work, so they had to stay at home virtually. So basically, though, this pandemic has really tipped everyone upside down, though. So yeah, it's a problematic thing, though. But we're starting to try and get back to kids going back to school.
Right. And what are some things I know with this whole pandemic about how much it's really affected everyone, especially including individuals with autism because it completely throws off routine. Routine is one of
Uh,
the things that
I'm going to debate that now. I'm going to debate that now, though, there, because
oh
ever
okay.
since I had help though from someone that actually specializes in autism, though,
Mhm.
her name was Sophia Farrington, though. This is going back many years ago,
Okay.
about when I was 18, 28, 29, though, that she helped me cope with many different things. So basically, though, that I love changes in a moment. Though I actually will go and do. I don't have a routine here. I don't virtually have a routine as such. So the first thing I do, I'll get up, have a coffee, go outside though, after my coffee though, and have a cigarette though because I'm a smoker. So the thing is though, is that my routine though is virtually first thing in the morning though, and the rest of the day though, I don't have a routine. Everything's out the door though. There, whatever happens during the day though. So one moment though, I could be sitting down though. Next moment though, I could be called to do something quickly though. So I basically don't have virtually a routine as such though. I mean, I get a message from the company though. There, oh, we need photos of what need to be done by a certain day though. So literally though, a split second thing though, I have to do though. So that's why I don't have a routine though, because yeah, it's just that how I've been though, how to cope with things, so that I don't have that kind of thing.
Right. And you want to would you mind if you share some of the things like the ways of that you've been with coping, like how you handle because
Uh, how, how
that not a lot of people are like that, so it's like this is something that I feel is important to share that because like that's learning such things, learning to cope is not it's not easy for everyone. Yes, for you, I can tell
yeah,
for you it is. I can
yeah, but
feel it
is
as
that
well.
the thing is though that it takes time though, that it takes time to cope though, that because people though they don't are not able to cope though, not able to cope though because it just changes everything though. There, I mean the people there though that need to learn to cope though there. What is it though? Because I'm an admin on multiple autistic groups, though, that actually help though with a lot of admins, though, on how to cope with things though there. And they're stuck on things though there. It's more like, well, chuck your ideas though there, and I'll give you my opinions on something like that though. So, so basically though, coping mechanisms though that I find though there is that actually don't worry about what's in front of you though there. More like don't have to worry about so much though there. Just close your eyes, learn to breathe though, and imagine something that's actually peaceful though, that actually you do like though. And you cut out a lot of the things though that actually causing you to make you uh like unable to cope with a certain situation though. So basically though, just close your eyes, breathe, count to 10, and actually think of something nice that you like. So it could be anything though, there from nature though, or a hobby that you like to do though, or something like that though. Because what frustrates people though there is not able to cope though. So basically though, there it's just that it's a learning technique though. It takes time to remember it. It takes time to actually put it in perspective though. Because what can't be done today though can be done tomorrow though. So that's something so people have to understand that it's not just about, oh, this has to be done, this. No, 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 no. Only achieve what you can do in one day though, and then tomorrow though is another day though. And that's a thing though that we don't have long on earth though, so you make do what you can do though each day though. Some days though you can get a lot done though, you can achieve a lot done. Other days though it's more like, oh, this is getting a bit too frustrating though. I'm gonna come back to it later on though in a much calmer manner, and then I can get to it though. It's like there though. I work on my hobby on my computer though, on my train simulator. That it does get frustrating though because it's like there that oh something didn't go right though. I'll just walk away from it though and give myself a breather though, and I think I'm an idiot though because I did something crazy or didn't work out though, or actually did something stupid, which is actually delete a save game though. It's like, okay, I'm an idiot. I deleted a save game. Oh well, not to worry though. I'll go back to it later on though. So yeah, I could spend months and months on something though, and accidentally delete something, and it's like, okay, that was a waste of time. Though I don't care. I'm gonna go back to it later on though, because it's actually you can refine, you can redefine, refine your skill set, refine on things like that you thought that was not able to do the first time though. Just go back and try again. There's actually ways you can look at it though. So instead of looking at inside the square box though, look outside the square box though. Whatever opportunities though that come at you though, don't think that it's too hard, it's not challenging enough though. So just breathe and think to yourself though that okay, challenging though okay, it's out of my comfort zone though. Let's try it though. It might actually make me feel better if I'm out of the comfort zone though. Because people though have routines though, they're always going to be stuck in a circle though. They're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over again though. Best way is though to learn to actually think on a good positive thing though there. So imagining your hobby, breathing, though you actually can do it. So some things though there may not. Most things though are not impossible though. Everything's possible. So that's the truth though.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I really appreciate like all the things that you said about with those are really good techniques with coping, with ways in which
Yeah.
to cope with situations and everything. Like one of them, what you were saying with walking away from a situation when it starts to escalate, because
Yep.
you never know when that can happen, and that's walk away from it, take a break from it from now, and you will get back to it later in the day, and you might
Yep.
be having a better idea than you had earlier.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. So yeah, it's all about a trial and error. So one way
Yes.
might not work though another way might work though and there's no harm in getting other people's opinions though Okay, if say for instance though that I'll give you a perfect example though on the autistic group though so basically on the ASGI group, which is the Asperger's. Give me a second though I gotta remember the name though, but it's called Asperger's ASGI Asperger's Support Group International, so ASGI, that's what's there, or Autistic Support Group International, though, because everyone from around the world though joins up this group though. Basically though, that we had a admin. I'm not mentioning names though because it's all highly classified information though
Yeah.
because me dealing with a lot of my own past traumas I had though and actually getting help though because I am not someone though that you never believe though that what I've gone through though I've actually gone through hell and back. But anyway, getting off that topic for the time being, that one admin though was having he was bringing personal life data into the group chats though, which was being a lot toxic in his behavior though. He wasn't listening though. We tried the peaceful approach though. My approach though was the tough love approach though. If he didn't want to get help though, he got booted out though. So he created the group though, but the way he was doing it though was bringing a toxic environment into the chat though. And basically though, I'm very blunt, so I've actually though without a hesitation though put him out though because he had so many chances though he breached so many different rules though in the ASGI that we had to boot him out though, and then he wanted to have a court though there, because basically that's what virtually will like though. There will like an international court type thing that without any law degree behind us though. But the thing was though is that he just broke so many of those rules that it was unhealthy though. So I so basically though that 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 he just needed time away from everything though there, just to get himself back on track though there, because he was just being not he's not listening though there. He was thinking his own way though, and yeah, that kind of thing though. It's not, and not listening to other people's opinions and such. And that's the truth though. So basically though that some people though they have a different approach to what other people though they so some people though they have the peaceful approach though.
Mhm.
It doesn't always work out though. The other approach though there may be a bit drastic and can be controversial though there, but it's sometimes though the best approach to everything. That's how I've done it though there. There was a few other admins though that agree with my approach though there, and those other admins that did not approved of my my approach though there. Because as an Australian though there's certain words though there um is actually vulgar words over in over in the States though, whereas actually here in Australia though it's actually not vulgar as such though. It's got a totally different meaning. So I won't mention what the names, not the what kind of swear words I'll swear though, because it's not appropriate, because it's the vulgarness in your country though. Whereas here in Australia though, it's actually not that. It's actually the opposite of vulgar. So it's actually can actually have a few different meanings though without actually being vulgar.
Mm,
It's how the contents it is though. So
right.
yeah, it's so yes, I have a I am one of those there that actually is just too blunt, honest though, and sometimes though that I'll get told off though because of my vulgarness. I'm using your terminology here, the vulgar of the word. So, but other times though they're not worried about my vulgar because of how I say it. No, and if they try and insult me or something like that though, it's more like I'll take that as a compliment, or it's like there though I'm just laughing it off there because you did it in the wrong content of the terminology. So that's the truth of the matter. But yeah, I've just have an approach though that's actually just blunt, honest though there, and I have a attitude though there that if it doesn't go right for you though there, and you're not listening though there, and you had so many warnings, so it's basically you're out type thing though there.
Mm,
So yeah, it's how I do things.
right. Right. And just and also thank you for like all the other advice earlier with other things of with just about with just with being online and everything with how people are going to be online and just like different everybody has different approaches to things and stuff, so thank you for sharing that. and
Yep, that's all right.
before we wrap up here, you said that you're the admin of a bunch of autism groups online.
Yes,
So, yeah,
yes.
so you could share about them a little bit, like.
Okay, so the main autistic group I actually deal with is actually the ASGI. So the Asperger's Support Group International, if I'm correct at it. It's got the puzzle piece from memory. So I don't really I mostly get the information there from
Mhm.
the chats and all that there from the other admins though there, because I'm basically like a counselor to them. So even though I'm an admin though to some of the people, the other admins though, I'm a counselor type thing, because I'm just there because of my past experiences though. So with me though, I've got multiple other disabilities. Okay, so I was born with high functioning autism. though,
Uh-huh.
which I had a developmental delay.
Hmm.
So the thing was, so there is that I had a developmental delay. That's why it was so long to get myself diagnosed. So because of other things, so that or things like that, though. So the other thing is that there I suffer from complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, though, it is caused by multiple forms of trauma to the human body, though, from someone else, though. So, excuse me, excuse me. So post-traumatic stress disorder, though, it's actually known fact, though, that this is actually going to trigger people here, though, but actually 1 in 3 autistic males or females that will be sexually abused in their lives. So there is actually, that's the kind of thing that it's really is horrible, though, but it's actually known fact, though. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's
It
it's
is.
scary to know, though, that the stats, though, that is actually not in the favor, though, of someone with autism, though. So yeah, me, I'm a childhood sexual abuse survivor, though. So I've gone through that trauma, though. There. I was also there, though. The other things that I've suffered from, though, there was other forms of trauma too. There. So these are the things, though, there why autistic people suffer from, though. They can suffer um from the physical aspect, the
Yep.
psychological aspect, though, to manipulation, to being downright, though, there being used, though, brainwashed, though, there to actually for them, though, there. So yes, I know those kind of forms, though, there. Also too there, though, an autistic male female, though, can get into a form of domestic violence relationships, though, which I've actually suffered from too there. So there's actually multiple. So people, though, there that are on high functioning autism, though, there tend to get into uh, tend to get a lot more trauma than people that are neurotypicals, though, because they don't understand, though, that people that are on the spectrum, they tend to be more abused, though, for their lives. And not many people, though, will actually admit that, though. But statistically speaking, though, that's the reality of the world we live in.
Yeah. That and about with like just with autism, like out of any other disability that with autism, it's more anybody that lives with autism is more likely to have a co-occurring condition or disability or disorder or anything like that than any other kind of disability that it is out there. And I really thank you for sharing your other that what you were saying about with your trauma disorder because
Yep.
that was very brave of you to share that.
Oh,
It's not,
no, it's all right, though, there, because the thing is, though, there is that nobody needs to be sorry for me, though, there. I feel sorry for people that go through it, though, there, because I know how hard it is.
right.
Okay.
You, what you're doing.
And the thing is, though, that not many people, though, will actually see justice.
Mm,
I'm one of the first, I'm one of the only people, though, there that actually spoke up, though, and actually put a perpetrator in prison, though. So he got his sentence, though. But
wow.
yeah, most people, though, there won't believe it, though. There, it takes a long time, though, there, and the process is long too. Process takes a long time, though, to get there, to get to that point, though. There, it may not go to court. It may go to court, though. It may get dismissed, though. There, but it really is a long process, though. And that's the truth, though. But yeah, the other things, though, there. I'm losing my train of thought here, so I do apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
Oh no, I just ramble on about. I just talk about anything and everything, though. There, so that's
Yeah,
the kind of.
that's great to that's great that you're like that and stuff. And just
Yeah.
what you were saying though, like with just taking action and justice into like what and stuff, that's something that that's what people are still need to continue to do and just to keep fighting about. There's always issues and stuff that are going on still today that that needs to take action. And
Yep, exactly.
I really
Thank you.
sharing that because you make it feel that people are not alone in what they're going through and stuff. So that really means a lot, and I'm sure that's gonna mean a lot to many, many people. So thank you
Yep.
for that. So
That's all right.
so
That's all right, Dada.
I'm gonna be wrapping this up. So I really thank you for coming on and everything, for getting to share your story, because it really is incredible. It really is. So thank you so much, Russell.
That's all right. You're very much welcome, Dada. Very much welcome, Michelle.